one man dared to defy an empire. With an army of mercenaries, war elephants, and sheer tactical genius, he brought Rome to its knees. But ambition has its price. This is the story of his meteoric rise and his tragic fall. The year is 218 BCE. An elite Roman force is thundering across northern Italy. Their objective: crush the Carthaginian invaders once and for all. But they're not prepared for what awaits them, because standing before them is their nightmare, the one man who has haunted the Roman world for years, the brilliant general Hannibal Barca, and now he's ready to give them their deadliest defeat yet. Welcome to this channel. Today, we unveiled the past and answered the question: so, who exactly was Hannibal? But to understand the legend, we must go back to the beginning. In the 3rd century BCE, the Mediterranean exploded with conflict. On one side was Rome, a rising Italian, power-hungry for expansion. On the other, the great empires of the West, Carthage, masters of trade and sea warfare. After the First Punic War, when Rome conquered Sicily, Hannibal swore eternal hatred for Rome. When he was 9 years old, he swore an oath to his father, Hannibal Barca, to wage war against Rome until their very death. As a result, Hannibal trained all his life in military arts and strategy. Unlike the pampered Roman aristocrats, Hannibal grew up in the field, learning survival tactics, guerrilla warfare, and how to read the terrain. By age 26, he was already a great military leader, winning many battles against the armies of Rome. But it wasn't enough for Hannibal, whose goal was to conquer Italy and raze Rome to the ground. In 218 BC, Hannibal decided to gamble everything. He would cross the Alps with 37 elephants, invade Italy, and give Rome their greatest defeat ever. Rome was shocked. They never imagined anyone could march an elephant army through the snow-capped Alps. But Hannibal did it, and once in Italy, he turned the battlefield upside down. At the Battle of Tribia in 218 BC, Hannibal surprised the Romans by launching cavalry attacks up riverbanks, something unheard of at the time. He used archers and light troops to harass the heavy infantry, then hit them when they were tired and vulnerable. In a surprise night attack, he sent 10,000 Romans to their graves. Next came the Battle of Lake Trasman in 217 BCE. Hannibal feigned a retreat, lured the Roman fleet into narrow channels, then unleashed hell. He hid thousands of infantries and cavalry along the shore, opened fire, trapping the Romans with no escape. Trapped between Hannibal's army and the mountains, 150 Roman ships were destroyed, leaving 4,000 Romans dead and only one Carthaginian casualty. Now Hannibal was unstoppable, and in 216 BCE, he delivered the worst defeat in Roman history at the Battle of Cannae. It was here that Hannibal truly proved himself to be a genius, a master tactician and strategist. You see, the Romans made a critical mistake, facing Hannibal head-on with equal numbers. He lured them into a valley where he had hidden 60 elephants and 10,000 infantry. As soon as the battle started, Hannibal unleashed hell, elephants trampling cavalry, javelins raining from above, infantry clashing in waves. While the Romans pushed forward, thinking they could break Hannibal's center, his cavalry harassed them from the flanks. But when the Roman wings thought they could finally crush the Carthage warriors, they found themselves facing another 10,000 Carthaginians hiding in wait. The Romans panicked, broke ranks and ran for the hills. Over 50,000 Romans fell that day, including 2 consuls, leaving only 10,000 men alive to flee. Never before or ever since had such a small force defeated such a massive army. So why isn't everyone talking about Hannibal? Why does his name echo so faintly through the ages? The answer lies in the nature of his victories and the politics of the day. You see, while Hannibal slaughtered Roman soldiers by the tens of thousands, he failed to capture any significant territory. And back in Carthage, leaders viewed the Italian campaign as a disaster. After every victory, Hannibal marched back to the border of Apulia, only to find no reinforcements. Each time he requested support from Carthage, they refused, afraid that Hannibal was draining their resources. So he was forced to make do with less and less, losing experienced soldiers, war elephants and vital supplies. And this is when Rome realized that defeating Hannibal was impossible. Instead, they would have to grind him down, starve him out. So Rome adopted Fabian tactics, named after Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucus, who refused to fight Hannibal head-on. This is also known as delay tactics, a type of strategy which avoids pitched battles and instead gradually bleeds the opponent. To achieve this, Fabius Maximus Verrucus ordered villages near the war zone to be cleared out, forcing Hannibal's troops to live off the land. He knew that Hannibal would need food, water and rest for his men and war elephants, and he wanted to deny him those things. If the Romans could wear Hannibal down without losing a single battle, then they could exhaust him, force him to retreat, and finally win the war. However, Hannibal was smarter than the Romans gave him credit for. He adapted to the situation, hunted down Roman supply trains, and ambushed their foraging parties, all the while staying on the move. He managed to survive for 5 long years. It was during this time that a new star rose in the Roman sky, Marcus Porcius Cato, nicknamed Cato the Elder, a stern, frugal, hard-working man devoted to Rome and her glory. He had only one goal: destroy Carthage and forever avenge Rome's humiliation. His relentless efforts paid off when in 214 BC he persuaded the Senate to adopt a resolution calling for the destruction of Carthage. And in 211 BC, Rome officially declared open war on Carthage. And now Hannibal faced an impossible choice. Should he continue harassing the Romans in central Italy, or should he return to defend Carthage? Despite his oath to never leave Italy, he decided to go home, and as soon as he left, Rome struck back. Scipio Africanus was a brilliant young general leading his troops. Rome crushed Hannibal's brother Hasdrubal in Spain, cutting off any hope of reinforcements. A year later, Scipio landed in northern Africa with 70,000 soldiers and began marching toward Hannibal's base. As Hannibal rushed to stop him, Scipio seized the capital, sacked it, and forced Carthage to sue for peace. Now, stripped of allies, resources and morale, Hannibal tried to rally the dispirited remnants of his army and escape to Asia Minor. But in the end, even Hannibal's genius couldn't outrun Rome's vengeance. Hunted across the Mediterranean, betrayed by the kings he once served, he found refuge in a small stone villa in Bithynia. There, in 183 BC, Roman soldiers finally cornered him. Some say he took his own life with a poison, while others claimed he was slain by a Roman centurion, hunting him down as a deserter. Either way, his legacy lived on, inspiring countless tales, books, and films. In the end, Hannibal Barca remains the epitome of military brilliance and human resilience, a warrior who defied an empire but ultimately lost to fate itself. But what do you think? Do you agree with this assessment of Hannibal's life and legacy? Or do you believe that the Romans were fortunate to have defeated such a formidable opponent? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I always appreciate hearing your perspectives, and thank you to all my supporters for your continued support. You helped me keep this channel alive, and I couldn't do it without you. And for everyone else, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps spread awareness about these forgotten historical figures. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time for more epic histories.